America, this is Mark A back in effect. Mark A stay in effect. Mark A will always be in effect.
Life is a bus, so the service a must. They make you turn up your phone before you get off the bus and make you wanna go home, dog. There's nowhere to run, so you must sleep through day zero to get to day
What's up,
one.
America? This is Mark A back in effect. Stay in effect and always will be in effect. And this is the Apex 07 show. Hey, today we on Lawton, Oklahoma. You know, I came by to visit my homeboy right here. Used to be one of my platoon sergeants when I was the first sergeant back in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. 2nd Battalion, 2nd Field Artillery. You know, welcome to the show.
Hey,
you know what I mean? You know, it's been a long time. This guy's not only like my platoon sergeant, he's like my brother. He's my brother, actually. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this is what I was talking about back in the day. When you meet good people, that you create your own family. You know, your mother and your dad and your sisters and brothers and cousins and all that. Those are family that you grew into. But as time goes on, when you get older, you create your own family. And this is one of my family members right here. You know what I mean? My little brother. You know, Song First Class Jackson. Now today, we're going to be talking about, you know, as you can see, Jackson's a big boy. He's like a big beast. You know what I mean? And a few years ago, when I was a first sergeant, the Army incorporated the ACFT test. Okay, and I said, hey, Jack, I need you to go ahead and help me get these guys ready. You know what I mean? Again, I need you to help me get these guys ready. So we do it as a team, you know, you know what I mean? So Jack came up with this program, and this is what Jack is going to talk about today.
Yeah, how y'all doing? Keith Jackson, also known as Song First Class Jackson. So when we talk about like the ACFT, for instance, so the Army's adopted this new test that measures your physical fitness, which is the ACFT. It's a 5-event test, physical fitness test. You have certain things such as like the 3 rep max deadlift, the standing power throw, sprint drag carry, hand release push-ups. Now the plank, because they've done away with the leg tuck, and then the 2-mile assessment run. So one of the things that I do, and I try and promote with soldiers, is holistic health and fitness. A lot of people think, when they think holistic health and fitness, they think it just has to do with the physical aspect of it, but it really doesn't. Mm-hmm. Right? Holistic health and fitness has to do with a lot of things, from your sleep, your nutrition, just how you go about your daily life, health-wise, right, as well as the physical aspect of it. So what you want to try and do is just make sure that all those things are in line. So if all those things are in line, a lot of people can be really successful in achieving good scores on the test. Currently now, as of today, 23 March, as of today, the Army has switched the standards and went to certain things. They went back to an age and gender specific criteria for grading. They had done away with it for a while, so it was kind of gender neutral. Mm-hmm. When you used the first one, I know you remember it was gender neutral. Yeah. So it didn't matter if you were male or female, you had the same standard across the board. So the powers that be seen fit and went back to having it by age group and as well as by male and female, is what we had in the APFT. So with prepping, not just prepping people. Well, let me take this back. So the soldier athlete concept is kind of what the Army's getting towards. They want soldiers to be not only just physically fit, but capable to handle certain things, certain stressors, physical stressors, as well as like mental stressors, right? So with that physical fitness test, there's a lot of the physical stressors that are demanding of you when you're in combat. The APFT of old, just the 2-mile run, the push-up, the sit-up, and the 2-mile run didn't really replicate those things that you see like in combat, some of the movements that we do in combat. So that's part of the reason why, you know, we want that soldier athlete now. We've done things with the ACFT. All the events are supposed to simulate certain things that you would do in combat or certain things that you do on a daily duty day basis. So what you want to try and do is just make sure that like your soldiers or your service members, the people inside your formation, can perform these tasks. Strength is obviously key, as well as like mobility and flexibility, being able to do these things. Because if you're not mobile enough to handle certain things, handle certain loads or weights, can't perform said task.
Yeah.
Right? If your hips are tight, you can't do 3-rep deadlift, right?
That's right. Now, talk to the audience about like how you basically started like from like high school, because I know you played high school football, you played college football, and like talk to the audience about like how you got started into fitness and stuff.
So my fitness journey has been long and ongoing. It's one that started when I was real young. I was always physically active. I was, a 2-3 sport like athlete in high school, and while I was coming up, playing Pee Wee and Pop Warner football. So it started with football, basketball, baseball, did some wrestling and stuff in there, and then went more focused towards football, where I ended up earning a scholarship, and then went and played at the University of Northern Iowa. After that, left there, went to the University of Minnesota for a little bit, and tried to earn a spot to play. Certain things didn't pan out. You live and you learn. I wish I would have had the knowledge that I have now, or the maturity that I have now. Back then, things probably would have been a little bit different. But I was always pretty physically fit in that aspect. Was always able to handle the demands of lifting weights and the training sessions and the strength and conditioning and whatnot. So I was always able to do that stuff. So that's what kind of like kick-started it. And then in the Army, once I joined the Army in 2010, I was afforded the opportunity in 2014 to go to Master Fitness. And then going there, I learned a lot more about like the functionality of the human body. And it just kind of projected me or springboarded me into wanting to be even a better physically fit person.
Yeah.
What you see now is not something that happened overnight. Like I said, it started when I was young, and then transitioned once I came in the military, and then I was afforded the opportunity through military schools and the knowledge gained there, and that kind of springboarded me, like I said, into where I am now, understanding how the body moves, how the body functions, what muscle groups that I'm working when I'm working out, or when I'm actually doing PT with either my section or platoon section when I was a young staff sergeant, but platoon, and so on and so forth, or just within any formation, whether it be green tab PT or whatever. So
now,
learn a lot.
Yeah, green tab PT is when the leaders have PT, and it's just the leaders alone, and the soldiers, doing PT on the side. I know, Jack, when I was your first sergeant, and they came out with this ACFT we was talking about before, and I said, hey man, I need you to go ahead and help these guys, get these guys going, because I know that you're there, you know what I mean, and that's one thing I used to always say is like, okay, you're a leader, you there, so but get your soldier there, you know what I mean. And this guy had a vast amount of knowledge. He's basically been on symposiums. What was the symposium that you've been on?
So last year I did a bodybuilding competition. I think I did two. I did one in Oklahoma, and I did another one in Texas. And in both those bodybuilding competitions, I placed, took a couple first place trophies or medals, and then I think 1 or 2 second place and 1 fifth place in my first 2 competitions. So,
which is outstanding, and that's something that a lot of people say that they can't, they shoulda or couldn't or can't. That word is not in the dictionary when with guys, it's with people. You just gotta basically believe and have a vision, go forward, and don't stop. Now, I know that you basically went down to Fort Knox, I believe, and you basically was teaching or speaking in a symposium of senior leaders as far as colonels, lieutenant colonels, and above, and basically giving them information about the new ACFT. What I would like you to share with is like for each particular event, as far as like the overhead ball throw, what do you call it,
leg tuck. That's the one that they got.
The leg tuck.
That's the one that they got rid of.
Oh, they got rid of the leg tuck?
Yeah, they got rid of the leg tuck.
Because I remember some of them soldiers couldn't even pull up the damn. they couldn't even pull themselves up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by the way, Mark A. back in effect, stay in effect, and always will be in effect. I'm retired. It's called retirement life. So, I got the beard, I got the boogers in the air, and I'm still sipping on, what we drinking on now? I don't even know. Some whiskey.
Yeah.
Snapchat, whatever what it is, you know, I'm just taking a little sip, you know what I mean? Because I'm chilling, I'm retired, you know, I got the waves going, the gray head, salt, pepper, you know, but I'm chilling, you know what I mean? But I'm here with my man, you know what I mean? In old, good old Lord, Texas, you know, and I will be at a city near you, you know what I mean? I guarantee that I will be at a city near you, the Apex 017 will be there with you, you know. Now, you about to start a personal training, LLC, right? As far as like, you know, talking to people over the phone, helping them coach, and also helping soldiers enhance on these certain events. You know, let's talk about maybe a few. Like, what is something that is like outside of the box that you know that you would do to help them enhance on whatever particular event? The worst event it is. Which one is that? Because I don't even know no more.
So that's all dependent on like the individual.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to assess the individual and what their needs might be. The first thing I usually do with soldiers is try and get them on some type of nutrition plan where they understand that the food, the energy sources that they're putting in their body. A lot of people just in the military in general don't eat well. It's just factual. We don't eat well at all, and that's where like the discipline comes in. So if we can get soldiers on the right track in terms of what they're eating and what they're consuming, then and get them and give them the knowledge to understand how those food sources provide that energy so they can sustain them through either the day, but specifically now like the ACFT, they can better perform. So that's the first step.
First step, nutrition, right? Nutrition is the first step.
Nutrition is the first step.
Okay.
After that, I usually just assess their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll see what they could be struggling in. Let's say one event might be the hand release push-up, for instance, right? With the hand release push-up, the difference between that versus like the standard push-up is that you utilize a lot of different muscle groups instead of just your forearms and your shoulders. With the hand release push-up, now you're using your traps, your deltoids, and your lats, and you also have to engage your core. So it's a full body exercise in a sense when you're using it. So you have to assess, okay, if you have weak shoulders. A lot of this stuff is covered in like the PRT manual. When you conduct PRT, actually, I should say, it's covered in there with shoulder stability drills, so on and so forth. So we as leaders just need to make sure that we're doing those drills to make sure that the soldiers are conducting them properly. Like, one, to prevent injury, two, to increase strength and mobility, so then they can perform the ACFT correctly and get a achieving score, whether it be 60% or higher. 60% being the Army standard, but always shoot for the stars and excel and exceed the Army standard is the goal. It's never the goal just to meet the Army standard. You want to go above and beyond and exceed the Army standard. So that's one thing that I try and preach to them. It's okay if you can get 60%. I'm not going to judge you on that, but what I want you to do is push yourself to be better. I tell my soldiers all the time when I was a platoon sergeant, I used to tell them all the time, I dare you to be great. I dare you to be great, and don't be afraid to be great. So that's kind of like how I approach it. So if there's something that they're struggling in, I'll find or identify that thing that they're struggling in, and then help them increase, whether it be their mobility or strength, by providing them exercises in which that are indicative of said exercise for the ACFT.
That's what's up. Now, I would like you to talk about, like, after the soldiers transition. And I know that you're not there yet. You know, you got some years. This guy's gonna probably end up being he could have been probably a future, definitely brigade command sergeant major. You know, but as far as what kind of like advice you would give to like guys that are transitioning, or soldier men and women that are transitioning, and like to keep themselves in shape. Because I know I speak to you all the time, and you the one that keep me going as far as, you know, certain things like walking on a treadmill for an hour with elevation of 16 and speed of 2.5 or 2, right? What other type of things like that you can give retirees or veterans, what they really kind of need to do to stay active, or like at gym or whatever, maybe nutrition or whatever? Like, what is it that you would say advice for them?
Well, first, you're a soldier for life, right? That's what we like to preach in the Army. You're a soldier for life. So no matter if once you hang the uniform up or whatever, you are still a soldier because you live that life. A lot of times what happens with people that end up retiring, things that I've noticed is that they enjoy life, but sometimes they might enjoy life a little too much.
You talking about me? Well, I do my thing though. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I still got my little. You know, I'm leaning up a little something. You know.
But they might enjoy life a little too much, and not saying that there's anything wrong with it, because you don't have to adhere to Army standards when it comes to the Army body composition program. You don't have to maintain a certain weight or anything like that, like to stay in the Army, or you don't have to do that anymore.
You let loose a little bit.
So it's okay if you have an extra slice of pizza, or you eat that full bag of.
I do. You know what I mean?
or eat that full box of Girl Scout cookies. So that's like the main thing. Like nutrition is huge. Whether you're in the Army or you're not in the Army, just understanding nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So I would advise people that do get out of the military is just be mindful of your nutrition, because you're not going to be in the same physical shape. You don't have the same physical demands.
Yeah.
You're not waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready, and then going and beating pavement for PT.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not doing that anymore. And sometimes some people are out there, you got some people in formations that are doing PT twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
If they have service members that are on remedial PT, and they have to conduct PT twice a day.
Well, remedial, I remember when I was in about 2 months ago or 3 months ago, was it not remedial? Reconditioning PT. There you go. Reconditioning PT. Motherfucker, you going no reconditioning PT. We gonna recondition your body so you will be able to pass a PT test.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's you just got to pay attention to that, and stay active. A lot of people that get out, like they're not as active. And I don't want to say they become couch potatoes, but some of them, they just don't do all the things that we do. There's not that physical demands. In the Army, it's go, 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 go. No matter where you at or what unit that you're in, it's always go, go, go. And it's a fast pace, and things tend to slow down once you get out of the Army. And in that sense or whatever, I know for you, it gives you like a moment of clarity where you can sit back and you can observe all the things that you have done, right? And for some people it's depressing.
Yeah.
And some people need to find different platforms, like Top. You can find a platform where you can still reach out and touch Joe. You can still reach out and help develop and train and mentor NCOs, and that's great. Other people, they might not be as fortunate, but one thing that they can control is their health. So health is extremely critical when you get out of the military. So, and what goes with that is your nutrition, what you feed your body, what you put in your body.
Yeah.
So that's what I would advise. Just make sure that you pay attention to the food that you eat. You stay healthy, stay as healthy as you can. You get routine checkups to make sure that your body's still functioning and doing the things, because a lot of stuff is offset from what happened when you were in the military.
Yeah, it is.
You might not have those aches and pains while you're in, but when you get out, all of a sudden, it's hard to get up, my back, or my shoulder, or whatever it could be. So those things are kind of put on hold, and then you actually get time to take care of those things. So you just have to be mindful of your body, how your body moves, and what your body's doing, and
So really, basically, it's not really saying is you don't need to do run 2 miles every day on a half and stuff like that. You know, but you can actually pay attention to whatever hurts, and that's something that you have to lay off on a little bit, and then use other muscle groups. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. I walk my dogs in the morning for about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at nighttime, I walk them for about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's some sort of cardio and things like that. Right now I don't have a vehicle, so I walk to the gym. It's about a mile and a half away, and I kind of troll back, because, my ankles and stuff be still hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do what I can, but I'm just coming out. I've just been retired about, since the 1st of February.
Yeah.
So I still got that sort of the mentality in me that I got to keep my body up and everything else.
Yeah.
But I know for myself that if I don't work out, after a few days, or say about a week or two, I start feeling groggy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I have to go back. And then when I do go back, I try to hit it too hard. And then I get injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, by me saying that is just take your time and just listen to your body. And like Jack said, listen to your body and slowly, gradually get into it. But just don't stop. Just keep going. Like in anything in life.
Yeah.
Just don't stop.
You gotta understand certain things too. If you take the time or whatever to research the difference between anaerobic fitness and aerobic fitness,
Mm-hmm.
just understanding like those two things and knowing what your body's doing like in those two different phases of fitness, right? Like you said, walking the dog or whatever for an hour, like that's just for anybody, like in general, like you don't have to be a military person at all, or even retired military to know that you need to have some form of physical activity like throughout the day. So it can get a little deeper, and sometimes it can get a bit confusing in understanding like in what stages that your heart needs to be in to burn fat, or what stages that your heart needs to be in. When I say your heart, like your heartbeats per minute, right? So if you're in a heart rate zone, like the zone 2, zone 3, like it's a fat burning stage zone. So if you can keep your heart regulated at 125 to about 140 beats per minute, you're going to burn more fat. So your body's going to utilize fat storages versus carbohydrates and proteins and sugars, right, for energy. So you just have to understand that.
Yeah. You know, and I will tell you that this young man right here has, well, yeah, I'm gonna call him young man, but he ain't really young. But I'm just older than him. But this guy has basically everything that he's done in his military career, from the time I known him up until now, you know, it's been successful. You know, and he's like an overachiever. You know, Artie Murphy. You know what I mean? PT stud. You know, Soldier of the Year, NCO of the Year. You know, like, I mean, everything he's done, and that's the type of mentality you have, like being in the military, as far as, you know, the enlisted, you know, to non-commissioned officers. You know, like, you just have to go ahead and continue pushing yourself to get to the next level. But pushing yourself is not basically surrounded around what you do; it's around what the soldiers do. And I've seen this guy change, like, drastically throughout the 2 years that I had him. You know, when he was actually a part of my team. He, the way his whole frame of mind of thinking was like, it's about the soldiers. You know what I mean? And let's push these soldiers to be better. Not just push them to be better than who he is. And that's one thing I'm very proud of this guy for, man. I mean, you know, and it ain't me, you know, because I always said it takes a village to raise a child. You know what I mean? And I was just glad that I was a part of his village to, you know, to continue to enhance him so he can enhance others. You know, and that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. But when, you know, and that's it, man. You know, it's just where it's at, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you need to say? Anything else that you want to tell America right now that you know that is Jack time to open up? Oh, goddamn. Smoke Jack time to open up. In this
So you had just said something that kind of rang bells a bit for me, and it's one of these things, not negating the dogma and the rhetoric of the Army and the things that we have, but like we have this one thing that we say in the Army, and it's winning matters, and it really does. Winning really does matter. Like, but you have to understand, like, you have to win as a team. Like, it is one team, one fight, but winning matters, right? So to get people to understand, like, what winning matters is, like, everybody wants, I don't want to say everybody wants, like, a first place trophy and everybody deserves a first place trophy. Yeah, but somebody does have to lose.
Absolutely.
Somebody does have to lose.
Absolutely.
But in the event that you do lose, like, that's where resiliency sets in. So you have to come back. You have to come back harder than you did before. Top was listing off a bunch of accolades and things that I've accomplished throughout my 12 years in the military, and not one of those things was my first time, and I got it. When I was in went to Artie Murphy, I didn't get it my first time. I had to be told no, that I wasn't ready, and it hit me hard. But that's where the resiliency comes back in. Like, your warriors.
He was gonna quit. He was about to quit. I said, "No, you're going. You're going. No, Jack, you're going. You're going. You're going. Top, you're going."
Yeah. So it was resilience, but you know what's crazy though? So when the day that happened, and I got told that I didn't make it, and I remember this day vividly. Like I felt like my heart was shattered because I felt like I wasn't enough, or I wasn't adequate enough. Right? Like, anytime you lose something, you kind of reflect a little bit, you internalize it. But I kind of use it as fuel because I had a battalion commander at that time or whatever that brought me in formation. You know who he is.
Yes,
had me stand in formation, and he told me how proud he was of me anyway.
That's it.
And all that really did was like reignite the fire. right? And then I started to realize, like, because he brought me in front of formation, and I was standing in front of like all the soldiers in our battery, and then he told me that he was proud of me, that I went, even just because I went, he was proud of me. And then at that point or whatever, I kind of got it that everything that I do, every accolade or every achievement that I have, it's not for Joe. It's the example for Joe to follow. It's not for me. Because at the end of the day or whatever, if Joe sees you do that or the soldiers see you do that,
then they want to do it.
Then they want to do
Absolutely.
it. They want to do it. But you know what's crazy is they
they're
say,
gonna ask you how did you do that?
Yeah, they ask you how, but sometimes like I've had soldiers throughout my career that would ask me, they say, you know, Sergeant Jack, Smoke Jack, I want to be like you. I want to be like you. And I said, no, don't be like me. Be better than me.
That's it.
Be better than me. Well, I want to go to SAMC. Well, go to SAMC. Go to SAMC and get it on your first try. And you know what? I'm going to make sure you get it on your first try because I'm a coach, teach, mentor, and train you so you don't make the same mistakes that I made.
There you go.
Right.
But
at some point or whatever, it's okay to let Joe fail. It's okay to let your soldiers fail.
Yeah, I did a lot.
It's okay to let them fail.
It's not a failure though. It's not a failure. It's just a learning experience.
Well, when they say failure, what they say is first attempt at learning.
That's it. It's just a learning experience.
Yep.
That's all it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So you know that's where you learn your lessons. You know they had that one thing about Michael Jordan where they said Michael Jordan took so many thousand shots or whatever, like game winner shots or whatever, and missed. And he missed. Yeah. But all they care about is the ones that he made.
That's it.
Right. And that's what you got to have or whatever is that winning mentality that Michael Jordan had, or even when people say like that Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant was the same way, and there's several other athletes that are the same way too. So you kind of got to use that and be like that person for them. You know, anybody can be the Michael Jordan to that soldier. Anybody can be that Kobe Bryant to that soldier, that LeBron James to that soldier.
I think I remember one time I told you when Colonel, you know the Colonel we talk about.
Yeah.
He said teammate. Hey teammate.
Oh.
Hey teammate.
Man.
And they used to like upset people. I'm like, shoot, I'm down. I'm glad I'm a teammate. You know what I mean? Because I'm a part of a team. But what I wanted to be was the Michael Jordan. I didn't want to say like, you know, I was going to be like above or be like the star. But every unit that I wanted to, when I wanted to make the unit better, right? So if they think of like deuce, they first on read. Or if they thought of like 137, they first on read. Or if they talked about field artillery, on first class read or smoke read. So it's just in every unit that you go to, you try to enhance the unit by putting some input to improve them. That's it. You know what I mean? And improve your soldiers. You know what I mean? And that's something I try to bring forth. But now, like I'm out, I can really say it. That's how you become successful, by enhancing your soldiers and the unit to better them in their mission.
There was a sergeant major that I had back in the day when I was at Fort Bragg, and one of the last things he said that resonated with me when I was a young E5. He said, "The life you live is the legacy you leave."
Ooh.
Straight up, the life you live is the legacy you leave.
That's it.
Inside this army, the things that you do, and I used to try this myself, but I'll get to that in a second. But the things that you do in this army or whatever, it cements your legacy within the army. Like there's only one First Sergeant Reed. There's only one, and his name rings bells, right? And for all the good reasons, right? So his legacy is cemented. His legacy lives in me. His legacy lives in a friend of mine, Avery's. His legacy lives in a lot of different soldiers, right? So
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Anytime. So when he told me that, when that sergeant major told me that, it was at that point that I started to realize that every day that you wake up, one is an opportunity. Everybody's heard that. Every day that you wake up is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right. But the army's about people, and we're in the people business.
That's right.
So without people, we have no army. So if you're not waking up every day and using it as an opportunity to impact your soldiers or people around you, it doesn't have to be people that you outrank, but it could be lieutenants, it could be captains, it could be colonels, it could be majors, it could be sergeant majors. You know, even
everybody human.
Yeah. I've had sergeant majors that told me that I've made them better, and I'm like, no, you make me better, and they're like, no, Jack, you make me better, and I never really understood it, but like if you look at life that way, not just you look at the military that way, but as well as look at life like as an opportunity to impact somebody and change their life, like you can go real far, and that will cement your legacy. Specifically in the Army, the Army's big, it's large, but it's small. It's very small. And artillery is even smaller. So the things that you do today are going to have lasting effects in the future throughout your career, 20 years, 15 years, or however long you decide to stay in. So.
Yeah. That's really you hit the nail on the head right there, man. Man, it's whatever you do forward, and enhancing your soldiers and everything is something that you leave behind a legacy. You know what I mean? Because you train a soldier, you train soldiers or train a soldier, and you work the dog out of them, right? And you're doing it for love. You know what I mean? But when that soldier goes to the next duty station and he knows exactly what to do one level higher, then that soldier's learned. You know what I mean? Because it turns out to be muscle memory.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's all it's about, man. It's just enhancing teaching. And just because you higher rank, that doesn't necessarily mean you're better than the person. It doesn't mean that at all. What it is that you got a little bit more experience than that person has at the occupation that you're in. You're not better than the person. You just got a little bit more experience at the job because you've been there a little bit longer. You know what I mean? And you've seen you've seen things through what's the word? Not responsibility, but experience that you can bring forth recommendations. So just because you higher rank, that doesn't make you better. It just makes you a little bit more experienced because of the soldier or the lower rank NCO than you are. And that's what it is. That's what's called rank structure.
I had this other first sergeant when I was at Fort Stewart. He used to tell me, he said, Jack, you know the difference between me and you? And I used to be like, what, Top? And he'd be like, $300. $300. And I didn't understand it. Right? $300. And so Top, when you say, the only difference is just that experience, but you as a leader, one, you can provide that experience. You can give that experience to that soldier. Absolutely. One, and that soldier can, in turn or whatever, like develop his own experiences through what you taught.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, what you want is your soldier to be better than you.
Absolutely.
You want them to know more than you. Yeah. Because you want to set them up so they take your spot. So how would I feel if the person that's going to take my spot doesn't have the same type of knowledge that I have? How are we supposed to pass the torch forward if I'm not doing it? I'm not doing my due diligence, or I'm doing that soldier an injustice if I don't do that. You know what I mean? So,
Leadership 101. That's not in no book. That's not in no book. That's not in BLC or PNOC or ANOC. It's Leadership 101.
Yeah.
Higher rank, you just got a little bit more experience at that one particular job than the lower enlisted have. Yeah. So what you just gradually get them to where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One thing that you was real good at when we were together is listening. Like, not listening to talk, but listening. Like listening to what it is that either made me tick or how I think.
Right? Trying to make you back.
Right? Listening to me and what it was that like understanding like my thought process. Right. So then you can effectively mentor me. Like there was things that you did that I remember the time, and I told you I was mad at you or whatever one day.
What?
We was in the field one day and you tore into me one day when we was in the field.
Oh, when with the aiming circle. With the aiming circle. Yeah, with you was bringing the gun.
Man, tore into me over the aiming circle. And I was mad at him for 3 days. 3 days. Remember that? Yeah. I was mad at you for 3 days.
Yeah. Good.
3 days. I ain't say nothing to him. Hey, morning top, that's it. Kept moving. I ain't say nothing to him for 3 days.
Yeah.
But after that, like lessons learned, like looking back on it, like you start to see like, that tough love. Right. NCOs, good NCOs are willing to give soldiers tough love. Right. And it might hurt sometimes, like especially if you're the junior or the subordinate, it's gonna hurt.
If you can take it.
Yeah, if you can take it, it's gonna sting a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna sting a little bit.
It's not about hurting.
Yeah, it's gonna
about
sting.
enhancing, about learning.
Yeah, it's
teaching.
gonna sting, but you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn, and that's that tough love that a lot of soldiers need, like today. That we need to do better as an NCO Corps and give is that tough love and that direction and that purpose and that motivation and that ability to coach, teach, mentor. Like we got to get better as that. We got to get better with that as a Corps because we've been lacking in a couple things that because we've been at war for so long. Thankfully now that we're not, but that's a different story. But we have the opportunity now to get back to the basics.
That's right.
Right. And get back to those building blocks that made us like America's
number one
strongest fighting force. What they say.
I like that necklace, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got that. I don't know where I got it from. I got it though. You know what I mean?
I was just looking at it. That thing's shiny.
But check this out. Again, our Mark 8 back in effect. We'll stay in effect. We'll always be in effect. I already done told you the reason why I say I'm back in effect because I'm back with my family. I'm going to stay in effect because I'm relevant with my family and friends. And my not just family, my outside family. The family that I handpicked. And I will always be in effect because I'm always going to be relevant to myself and to my peoples. You know what I mean? Which is my family, my village. And the villagers that basically brought me up. So this is the Apex 07 show. Gunny Jack, I call him Gunny. He's a platoon sergeant, but I call him Gunny because he's my gunny, my gunnery sergeant. Okay. You'll be seeing him throughout the course of the shows. He'll be teaching or be working with soldiers and to enhance each particular event on the ACFT or whatever the APFT, whatever ACFT.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And little skits and stuff like that. Hey, we're gonna keep it rolling. Apex 07 is just starting up. You know what I mean? It's gonna keep rolling. Just continue being excited because I'm totally excited about it. More to follow. It'll be more and more episodes coming out your way, and I'll be coming to a town or a city near you. Apex 07, Mark 8 back in effect, staying in effect, always be in effect, is out.
9 weeks later, the basic shit done. And then 5 weeks later, I'm in unit 1 like you son of a what? This body boy done earned him a gun. Make you think about home and who all lost their life to a gun. Shit.